happened over the last few days, and I wanted to update you. It is truly so much to cover in a single video, but it just definitely needs to be talked about. First of all, the fact that hardly any large YouTubers are talking about the Beast Games is honestly pretty disappointing, although not too surprising. In general, I think basically all the top YouTubers are hoping this blows over so they can keep their chance to do business with MrBeast or be a part of his juicy collabs. As someone who has done 3 of these Beast collabs and had him try to do business with me twice off of YouTube, let me tell you, it's a complete waste of time. But hey, I'm not gonna go into that right now. I would just like to remind them, the other big YouTubers in this community, that dozens of people were injured and thousands of people were denied their basic human rights, all for a MrBeast YouTube video. It's giving David Dobrik 2.0, and the sequels are always worse. There's still no update from TikTok on why my first video about the Beast Games is blocked in every country except for the US. Also, thousands of comments are being deleted daily on MrBeast's newest video.
MrBeast has been deleting all the comments that speak on the situation about him being a fraud. It doesn't matter if you don't space out your comment, they will all be deleted.
Much of Reddit is blocking threads on the topic. This includes his own subreddit that's ran by his staff. Even Twitter deleted a community post about MrBeast. So overall, it looks like there is a pretty concerted effort to hide this story, which pretty much explains why I'm making the video today. A lot of you had asked for verification of the other stories I was making videos about, which I totally get, and I wanted to read one of the articles that came out this week. This one is from the New York Times. They vetted about a dozen Beast Games contestants and listened to their stories. Many other news outlets have also interviewed and vetted other contestants and crew as well. So I hope that gives you some assurance that these stories are real. All right, so let's read through. Send thoughts and prayers. I'm dyslexic. This is gonna be something. The title of the article is "Willing to Die for MrBeast and 5 million. I'm gonna read about half of it because it would probably take me a couple hours to read this whole article because I'm such a slow reader. During the intake process this year, several contestants told the New York Times that they have been asked whether they would be willing to be buried alive or travel to outer space. One contestant recalled being asked if she would be able to swim to shore if thrown overboard from a boat. "I understand that such activities may cause me death, illness, or serious bodily injury, including but not limited to exhaustion, dehydration, overexertion, burns, and heat stroke," read line in the contract reviewed by the Times that applicants were required to sign. Such language is commonplace in reality television contracts. What they did not expect, however, were the more mundane yet potentially dangerous inconveniences that they said had befallen them during the competition. Speaking with the New York Times on the condition of being anonymous due to non-disclosure agreements, over a dozen people who participated in the first installment of Beast Games said that they had not received adequate food or medical care and that some competitors had suffered injuries from the physical challenges. The event was being filmed for Mr. Donaldson's YouTube channel to select contestants to participate in the Amazon MGM show later this summer. Some of the contestants left the competition arena on stretchers. A contestant said, though it was unclear if any of those contestants had faced serious medical conditions. Another described watching fellow contestants vomiting and appearing to pass out. There were several hospitalizations. So I'm going to stop right here to give a little bit of context. The local hospital that took patients from the Beast Games described it as a pretty chaotic scene. I've also talked to at least 100 contestants. Some of the injuries described to me, I would definitely describe as serious. Okay, back to the article. In a text message, a spokesperson for MrBeast said that the shoot was unfortunately complicated by the CrowdStrike incident, extreme weather, and other unexpected logistical and communication issues. The spokesperson said MrBeast had started a formal review and had taken steps to ensure that we learn from this experience. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break again. So MrBeast's PR team is blaming everyone but themselves. I don't understand how CrowdStrike prevents people from getting their medication. I don't understand how CrowdStrike prevents women from getting feminine products that they need. I don't understand how CrowdStrike gives low quality food with no protein to contestants doing physical challenges. They were giving out cold oatmeal. Yeah, great, wonderful. I don't understand how CrowdStrike caused people to be nearly trampled. I just don't understand how CrowdStrike caused fully grown men to tackle women. And severe weather, spoiler alert, it's Vegas, it's hot. How is that an excuse? And unexpected logistical issues. That's literally the entire point of hiring an experienced crew. Remember when I said MrBeast team intentionally wanted to hire non-union? And MrBeast has started a formal review. So what, this is the second time in 2 weeks that MrBeast is investigating MrBeast? I'm gonna investigate myself. After I investigated myself, I have found that I myself have done no wrongdoings after this totally legitimate investigation that I have done myself on myself. Trust me, bro. The company that will be investigating me is MrBeast Investigations. All right, let's go back to the article. Some former employees have spoken out about safety concerns on MrBeast sets, but his vast fan base has continued to see him as fundamentally charitable and well-meaning. Amid allegations about Beast games, as well as recent accusations about inappropriate language used by Mr. Donaldson and a former collaborator, his reputation, as well as his multi-million-dollar YouTube empire, are on the line. We signed up for the show, but we didn't sign up for not being fed or watered or treated like human beings, one contestant told The Times. Before they arrived at the stadium on July 18th, the contestants had to turn in their phones and belongings, including medications. The group ranged in age from members of Gen Z to a competitor who said he was 82, a contestant said. Right from the start, things seemed off. Some contestants said they had originally been told that the competition would have 1,000 participants. This was also the figure advertised by Prime Video earlier this year, but upon arrival, contestants received a video message from Mr. Donaldson, reviewed by The Times, informing them that the number of contestants was higher. Obviously, there's 2,000 contestants, Mr. Donaldson said in a video. I don't remember if I said that publicly or not, but there is. A spokesperson for MrBeast said the intention had always been to have 2,000 competitors during that phase. There's that spokesperson again, that PR team, they're just working overtime. I talked to a bunch of contestants. The contestants that I talked to, many of them were not told that it was going to be 2,000 participants. They were told it was 1,000. They were upset by this. They were also upset because they felt they were misled because they thought they were going to be on the Amazon Prime show, not on a YouTube video. Like many of the people who appear in MrBeast YouTube videos, some of the contestants said that they needed the cash to pay for things like student loans and medical debt, which is the #1 debt in the United States. This is a part that seems small, but it really bothers me because it's obvious that they're just trying to film people's reactions of like, what? But you're really messing with people's lives and people who may really need money. A lot of the contestants that I talked to, they signed up for the show not because it sounded super fun, but because they really needed the money and they wanted a chance to compete for that money to really change their lives. And so to dangle a really high price carrot, $5 million in front of people's faces who need the finances and then do this to them, it just seems cheap. I'm getting older. I'm just fed up with the BS. Several contestants also said that they had not been warned about how little they would be given to eat and how infrequently. They described going on long stretches without being fed by the production. One said she had gone over 20 hours, both during the games and while they were in Las Vegas before and after filming. Contestants said they had expected the production to provide them with meals for the duration of their time in Nevada. One meal described by several contestants included a teeny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. Meals throughout the games were small and sporadic, contestants said. It was difficult to keep track of time without watches or phones, but the contestants estimated that they had been fed twice a day, once early in the morning and again in the afternoon or evening. A spokesperson for MrBeast said the contestants have been offered 3 meals a day. Here's that spokesperson again. One of the most common things amongst all of the contestants that I talked to was just how dire the food situation was. On a few occasions, the production staff passed around small Feastables chocolate bars, a brand created by Mr. Donaldson, and filmed some people eating and praising the candy, contestants said. Nothing better than a cheap chocolate bar on an empty stomach. Pretty much everyone I talked to said that they were starving, and I cannot believe that they use this as a cheap way to promote their candy bars, like advertise their candy bars on the show. People with food allergies and dietary restrictions said that they had experienced even more trouble. Before the competition, contestants filled out forms detailing their dietary needs. An FAQ document provided to contestants in advance of the event and reviewed by The Times said that all dietary and food restrictions would be taken into consideration. Either they knew about the dietary restrictions and they weren't able to meet them, or they casted people with dietary restrictions knowing that they wouldn't be able to feed them correctly. Either way you cut it, it's not good. You can't feed people? Jimmy, don't you run food banks? An FAQ document that says taken into consideration. Yeah, it seems like they considered entered it, they were like, I'm gonna consider not doing anything for the people. But several contestants said that they had been served food that they were allergic to and that alternatives had not been provided. Quote, they took on this challenge of 2,000 competitors. They should have known they needed an enormous crew to handle this correctly. Hungry, bruised, and bleeding, Mr. Donaldson presided over the field as the first scenes of the competition were filmed in the stadium. Contestants described how he had stepped out of the shrine-like structure and onto a platform above $5 million in cash as they were instructed to cheer. Quote, we're all just looking up at the sky, screaming at him like he's God, one contestant said. Guards dressed entirely in black, complete with face coverings, flanked the field. A psychologist also introduced himself to the competitors at the outset, explaining that health and safety were priorities on set. Several participants recalled. Reached by phone by the Times after the games, that psychologist declined to comment on the event. In what world is one psychologist enough for 2,000 people? When I went on to a reality game show years ago, this is over a decade ago, there was 10 women and we had one psychologist. Just so you guys can kind of compare, several contestants said that when they had sought out production staff members for assistance with medical care, food, and hygiene issues, the staff members were often not helpful and appeared disorganized. Some staff members yelled and cursed at contestants, one participant said. Sorry if you guys hear snoring, my dog just fell asleep and I don't have the heart to wake her up. They just look so cute when they're taking those little puppy naps. Use this one. She's right here. Boop, boop. This is our little booty. Back to it. Despite reassurance that contestants' medications would be distributed to them when needed, several contestants said that they had not received their medication on time, including one contestant who needed insulin, instead receiving it hours or even days after their scheduled dosing times. This is so dangerous to a diabetic. This is awful. One contestant said that she had initially been denied food that she required to take with her medication and had been told by staff members that she didn't actually need to eat. After asking repeatedly, she was given half a banana. Something else that really bothers me is people online are saying, well, it's a competition, it's supposed to be hard. And I'm like, why is MrBeast production casting people who need specific medication and specific food and then not giving it to them? That has nothing to do with the competition games themselves. Nothing. It is taking care of basic human needs. Contestants were instructed to supply the production staff with a Ziploc bag containing 5 days worth of undergarments, which would be distributed to the contestants once the games were underway. But several contestants said that they had waited hours or even days to receive their clean underwear. I'm gonna stop here again. Why the is MrBeast production team taking contestants' underwear? I get not having a cell phone or something you can cheat with, but underwear? There is one contestant that I'm talking with right now who has never gotten her underwear back. One woman said that when she and a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event had asked the production staff about getting their underwear more quickly, she had been told that it was not a medical emergency. And she recalled that a nearby member of the production staff had laughed at the woman's pleading. How disgusting are these people? Could you imagine these people treating your sister that way? Your mom that way? And yes, it is a medical emergency. It's called toxic shock syndrome. People can die from it. Can we please make Markiplier the #1 YouTuber already? I'm like so sick of this. Ick, ick, ick. Contestants felt that the staff was overwhelmed by the volume of competitors. In addition to these behind-the-scenes issues, things did not appear to run much more smoothly when it came to the competition itself. The first challenge involved 5 teams of 400 pulling ropes attached to a 10,000-pound weights as fast as possible. The issue began, participants said, when they were broken into those teams. A scramble for team pennies, which I think means jerseys, quickly became chaotic and frightening, several said, describing a crush of people pushing and shoving other contestants while the production staff was unable to calm the crowd. One contestant described hyperventilating amid the scene. Another said she had been almost horizontal and had feared being trampled. How this was described to me from contestants was basically, it was a free-for-all mosh pit just to grab these jerseys. Why didn't production just pick the teams and hand out the jerseys? Some male contestants refused to pass pennies to female contestants, with the result that one of the teams was predominantly women, contestants said. Several people interviewed for this article felt they had not had a fair chance at winning the prize money given the way the teams were formed. One contestant said she left the stadium bruised and bleeding after being injured and eliminated in the first challenge. She was handed $1,000 in a stack of dollar bills as a consolation prize, but said she had to hand the money back to the producers after the cameras were off. Competitors were told that they would receive real payments later, she said, but as of publication time, she has not yet been paid. One contestant, a self-professed longtime fan of Mr. Donaldson's who is still in the game, said she was nervous about her safety but planned to continue. That just really paints a picture of what's going on. A contestant who doesn't feel safe, but she needs the money so much, so she's going to try to stay. Oh, it's that spokesperson again for MrBeast.
Quote, "We are grateful that virtually all of those invited to Toronto for our next production have enthusiastically accepted our invitation," the MrBeast spokesperson wrote.
So to end this video, I just wanted to read through this article and give you a good idea of some of the things going on in Beast games. Nearly every part of this story was confirmed to me by multiple contestants in private. I personally do not believe that the production is fully prepared to keep people safe while competing on Beast games. It has been told to me that future challenges potentially include swimming in the ocean to an island, being buried alive, and God knows what else. I'll keep you guys updated. Bye.